Hello, my dear ones. It is, again, a great pleasure to spend time with you all. I appreciate you all taking your time and reviewing these videos and using any of the information for your good. It does my heart good and a bunch of others good that you're all moving down the road as you should be. And it's really great to see a lot of light bulbs turning on all around the world. It's exciting to see that happen in such a dark area. So my love to each and every one of you, and don't get frustrated. Get strong. Get strong within the self, and don't let anybody knock you off your game. Know what you want. Go after that. Don't use your mind so much. Step back. Keep yourself free. Keep it simple. These are vital things of keeping your happiness. The simpler you live, the happier you are. The less you own, the happier you are. Materiality suffocates a person. So be careful. Every desire you have has your energy and consciousness tied to it. And so the more desires you have, the less you're home. You know what I mean? Somebody's got to go chasing the rainbows, and that, of course, is a little piece of your awareness. And the more that you want all these material things in this world has to offer, and even this world for some of you, the more it'll strangle your freedom. Joy comes when you're totally free, and in that, the energy of God comes rushing through, because at one level, there is no materiality. It is just pure consciousness, pure awareness, pure thought, pure energy. I won't even say pure thought, because it's beyond thought. So it's just moving yourself into the present moment, meaning get away from thinking for a while. Just hang out and be, observe, watch, instead of being the thinker or the talker, Helpful. All right, I want to continue and go on down through these. I'm trying to do these in segments since Chris is out, and he won't be out for the next week. So we have all week, although I have to see clients, but if I have enough room on this tape, I might get to catch up. So we'll see. All right, so let's go on and get some more questions and answers done here. Cluster headaches. God, I hate that. And it would be great to get answered ASAP. And, the sad thing is it's going to be a week, and this was done July 16th, so I apologize. It's just hard for me to get them up. My husband, Bill, gets cluster headaches every 2 years or so that last anywhere from 1 to 3 months and varies with intensity. What is the cause? Why does it happen every 2 years? Well, that's a good question, because I can't tell you why you see it in a cycle of every 2 years like that or so. I have no clue to why that would be, I think it'd just be conjecture on my part to even see that. When you're looking at headaches, though, there's something either that he's consuming or it's constipation or sinus. When you look at headaches, headaches come from either the stomach. Those are more frontal. The stomach can get too acidic at any given time and throw you into bad frontal headaches, migraines. Sinus pressure can cause headaches. Low calcium utilization can cause spasms and headaches leading to strokes. Bowel constipation is very much a headache, and the reabsorption of putrefaction of meats and proteins causes headaches. Pressure in the cerebellum and in the upper C-spine can cause headaches. So you have varied reasons for headaches, but all those are remedied through detoxification. I was raised on migraines. Once my sinuses and everything cleaned out, I didn't have one. And I couldn't believe it. I had one medical doctor tell me one thing after another. Crazy. Even when I'm growing up, I'm going, what? But again, you got to clean the bowels, get the kidneys filtering, get the acids out of the body, get all this inflammation that causes spasticity and spasms out of the body, clean the sinuses out, thyroid headaches, get the thyroid up. A lot of different causative factors to headaches, depending on where in the head, what part of the brain, how that's related to other parts of the body, blah, 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 blah. But it always has its roots in acidosis, guys. Stress, pressure, things like this. But acidosis is the key factor for all headaches. So again, the best way to get rid of any headache, including the migraines, is start cleaning out your bowels. Remember I told you about an old Amish elder that came to me, had headaches for 45 years, every day, 45 years, couldn't get rid of them. Been to headache clinics, Mayo Clinic, everywhere around the world. Had 100 chelation therapies to try to get rid of it, to no avail. I cleaned out his bowels, his kidneys, detoxed him, and in 2 months, no more headaches ever. Never had them again either, and I knew him till he passed at about 95. So I can just tell you that this is the best way to, and the only way that I know of, to assure that you get rid of these cluster headaches or any type of headaches as far as that's concerned, because I don't like any one of them. He has high pressure and Crohn's disease. Well, there you go. You got high blood pressure, okay, so you know you got lymphatic problems. Pressure alone might cause you some headaches, no question about that. But here's the problem. There's his lymph system again, because there you have lymph pressures. These are acid pressures. Of course, the Crohn's just shows extreme acidosis interstitially in the wall of the colon. So you know that in the wall of his colon's backed up, his head's backed up. Remember, you can't just back up interstitially in one area of the body as a rule. You can argue that your genetic weaknesses, as Jensen said, that's where you have more of a backed up, and I will concur with that one. But whenever you're not moving lymph head to toe. And so that sets up pressures, that sets up spasticity, that sets up all these things like that. And the stomach is a huge place for headaches, huge place for headaches. Get this, on medication to treat both, you see, and even the medication probably can cause headaches. Has a history of fatty liver and slightly elevated liver enzymes. All right. Let me recommend that your husband, Bill, start getting his butt in gear and getting on this program, because fatty livers, now remember, we've talked about fatty livers on the last couple of videos, but realize that this is the same lymph system that's backed up causing Crohn's is backed up causing fatty livers and breaking down little liver tissue, getting elevated liver enzymes. That isn't good. And you got a pancreas right next door. It's not sitting there trouble-free, so it's backed up. The spleen's going to be backed up to a certain extent. So all the lung tissue, all the way into the head's going to be backed up. So you're giving enough here to where you can get headaches easy from any of these sources even. So you want to detox him. He's got to get his kidneys going. That's the high blood pressure, because your husband's not heading for anything good here. That's for sure, sweetheart. Your husband, Stacy, your husband is not heading for anything good. You know, the breakdown of the liver and liver cancers, and, you know, you've got the fatty liver. I mean, it's just, and then what about the rest of them? The Crohn's, of course, that's next door to cancer. So, you know, you just got to stop this breaking down of tissue by acids. And, of course, lipids are going to be that protection that the body offers, but in that sense, that's where you see the fatty liver developing. But you can get fatty kidneys, fatty anything. And you can get fats, lipomas all over the place. His doctor treats his cluster headaches by going up on his Verapamil medication and adds Imitrex. It helps the pain, but obviously doesn't make them go away forever or would be out of business. That's about right. And Verapamil, he's on Verapamil for high blood pressure. You know, we use Verapamil for tachycardia when I was doing cardiac work. So interesting. And some lady was on it for seizures a little bit. So interesting, huh? Looking forward to your guidance and wisdom, King. Oh, Stacy from Ohio, you Buckeye, you. Well, you know, get your husband's butt cleaned out, basically. Your hubby needs to get himself cleaned up here, because, you know, high blood pressure doesn't lead to anything good. You're going to continue to lead into kidney failure with that one. And then, of course, goes down the adrenals and all that implies. And then the Crohn's, nobody wants Crohn's. You know, I mean, that's the next door to breaking down the bowel tissue and having serious bowel cancers and tumors. So, and then you don't want to break down the liver. That's your chemical factory. So all hubby has to do is change his focus, do what you know to do, Stacy, and you'll have your man in good shape. And look at his eyes and see the degree he has problems, and tell him what he's got to work through. But your hubby can take care of all of that stuff without a problem if he would, change his focus. Oh, spiritual question. Oliver, is that I'm pronouncing that right? Member 102. How did you get member number 102? I don't got member number 274 or something. You got member number 101. You got an easier number than I did. Man, Chris, I'm gonna go after Chris for that. I got number 274 or something like that. Do you have titles of spiritual books that talk about why we are on this planet? What are we supposed to do? How is our world in reality, and what happens after the physical death? Well, there's plenty of books on what happens after the physical death, man. I mean, there's plenty of those. Even all the Paul Twitchell books gives you an insight to all. Matter of fact, Paul Twitchell's books, for me, now I read, I won't say I read them all now, but if you went back into the 70s, I probably read every spiritual book written to that time, any philosophy, psychology. I mean, I was just tearing it up, trying to understand all these people from Nitsky to Watts to whatever, you know, and just a hound dog at reading. And there's nothing on telling you what you're supposed to do because you're the creator of the whole thing. So you have to kind of step back, because when we look at life from the physical, we're in this limited shell, and it's hard to understand the infinite from looking from a very finite position. But we're only accepting the fact that we're finite, because our attention is so grabbed. You know, from being birthed, you can tell a new birthed soul is still not in the body completely. If you look at newborns, you can tell they're not all here. I mean, that's easy. So it takes a while to solidify, if I may use that word, the consciousness to this realm. In that solidification, it loses your freedom immensely into this little finite physical being. This is why there's an old saying, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, not physical beings having a spiritual experience. It's a shift in the way you look, instead of to God, from God. And the only way you can look from is to stop the mind and stop desire and stop emotions. Buddha said it all the time. Jesus said it all the time. Paul said it all the time. Enoch said it all the time. Almost all the spiritual giants that were spiritual giants said the same thing. Said the same thing. Maybe in different words, but said the same thing. So in compiling all that, just like we've compiled the body and how everything works, that's what we do here, is we compile, we look, we analyze, we put together, we fit where things go, and we take things out that don't fit. So there's plenty of books nowadays. I'm really out of touch with a lot of that, because at a certain point you don't read books for spirituality, because who can tell you? And the problem is there's too many people wanting to tell you, even in the spiritual works. And then you have all these people channeling all these ascended masters and stuff. And to be honest with you, forgive me, but it's okay. Saint Germain, there's still a lot of ascended masters that are being channeled. And, you know, that's good. There's the I Am Faith that channels a lot. They have a lot of information, a lot of recordings from channeled beings and things, and you can look at that. I'm not a channeled person. I believe that's a dangerous practice, and sometimes it gets into the ego of the individual. And you want to know yourself. You don't want someone else telling you. You want to know. It's okay to have a master show you the pitfalls and the way, but never take on the way for you. And really, you know, that's part of being your uniqueness as an individual, is your unique experience as you. Because no one has the same two experiences similar. But it's like the blades of grass. There's no two blades of grass the same. There's no two snowflakes the same. So you're really here to be that individual experience of God. How does something infinite experience the finite, if not through you and everything else it's created that is finite? To think that this is separate from the Supreme One is ridiculous, because you can't. It cannot have anything outside of itself, since it is a total being. It works in the realm of totality and allness. And all religions pretty much agree on that aspect of it, even though some throw in there's a hell and there's a heaven. Can't have two places opposite each other in something that's omnipresent. It's impossible, because there's no room for that to exist. So it's kind of re-understanding how things are working here a little bit, beyond theories and sometimes concepts from the limited mind and the limited individual. So you have to kind of shift your attention from that. But it's looking, it really is being able to read a book and understand what you need out of what's being said for you, not to go by everything that's being said in that book. I am a J. Krishnamurti fan. He is the one to help you get out of your mind. I am a Paul Twitchell fan for the Map Maker. I'm an Eckmaster fan because of their ability to come take you out of your body and give you hugs on the inner worlds while you're still consciously aware of that. We try very hard. And so there's a lot that I do respect, and there's some books. I do believe that Monroe, he mapped out the astral world probably pretty good. So there's a lot of information, but you really, it's viewing how creation is put together and all the different realms and all that as much as we can. But the reality is still you. And the experiencer of these realms is still you. And you are at the core of all you experience. And it's that you need to get in touch with. And no one can tell you how to do it. They have contemplation or meditation. In reality, these forms or these tools to use is to either use a word like the Hu or the Om to bring your energy up. But there's a point where you have to learn how to quit thinking. And you can use meditation or contemplation, whatever you wish to call that, to achieve that. Or you can use it to get out of the body, either way. You can learn how to have out-of-body experiences and learn that way, but there's a certain point in time where you will be more interested in consciousness than travel. There's a lot. Marcy and I were just talking about the depth of creation, and just what is known is staggering. Other books, though, you have the Radha-Swami. I like their books, but I don't like spiritual beings that say they're the only path, they're the only way. It's that sort of thing. It has been Twitchell used those words somewhat himself at sometimes, but true masters, after a while, they learn to grow out of that. But we all awaken through, anyway, at this realm. We all awaken through this realm, so we use different teachings help to awaken us. That's why they exist. Just like the Radha-Swami helped Twitchell at one time, helped me at one time. But then we went on. And that's the thing. You either stay where you're at, where you're comfortable spiritually, or you go on. But be careful with this, that the world is going to become a utopia and stuff like that, because truthfully, that's not how creation is. You have the positive and negative, and yes, you have your different yugas, and you have your positive and negative swings, no question. You can see it in your lives. There's periods of time in history where you have more negative times and things more positive. But to think that a realm like this would become like a higher realm of utopia and light bodies and stuff is ridiculous thinking. Doesn't have the nature to do it and never will. Not supposed to be that way. But there's a lot of promises. And then you get those that always talk of riches and things like that. And that kind of crap is boring stuff. Please don't insult us. That's we don't play Monopoly here. We're into God experiences and into helping others and things that mean something. Some people are still playing Monopoly. What happens after this? You named Jalaluddin. Well, that's Jalaluddin Rumi, J. Krishnamurti, and Paul Twitchell. Do you have some books titles to share? Yeah, The Tiger's Fang is a journey through all the God worlds. By Twitchell. The Key to Secret Worlds, a little more in-depth look at these different worlds. The Far Country, another in-depth. Paul Twitchell wrote a lot of friggin' books, and most of them are an in-depth look at the different realms, the overlords, the beings responsible for working in the realms. A lot of information, a lot more than I've ever found in any teaching anywhere. Just floods of more information than the average person can actually deal with. I think that's why it had to step back a little bit, because just too powerful. I spent a lot of years with Twitchell and Darwin, and it's just very powerful. The average person, if you didn't hold it together, you could go out a little bit, Very powerful stuff. And that, of course, that's what I prefer, but, that's just me. I like the strong, the powerful. I like that. I don't like the weak and that sort of thing. I just gave a book to one of the guys here to read from J. Krishnamurti. A person gave me a beautiful compilation of Krishnamurti's works, and he's got a lot of them. The first book I read on Krishnamurti was Think on These Things. And it just was the opposite. You would say, think on these things, and what he was doing was teaching you how not to think. and giving you an understanding that the thinking process is a conditioned process and that you can't see true reality through the mind since it's a conditioned instrument of expression. So getting into that nowness, that allness, the presence of the moment gives you that total knowledge because it's all there. It's amazing. If anyone's ever had an acid trip or something like that, you might have had similar experiences where suddenly the answers of the universe just start rushing in. You focus on a question and the answer is right there, and to a high degree. And it's just that it quieted the mind, the mental aspects. I've got tons of books, though. I can't even know where I would even tell you to start. There are great spiritual beings. Someone gave me another book on a spiritual guy that one of the YouTubers' husbands or something, and I haven't read it, but it looks good. Always get what you need, but remember the core of it is you've got to live in the present moment. Keep spirituality as simplistic as you do health, because metaphysics will take you down roads of intellectualism. Some people enjoy the road of intellectual mind teasing and things like that. I prefer to cut to the chase. Why waste a time when you don't have time to waste? I don't believe in God because what I heard about it was only from mainstream religions. And it's a good position to be in a way. I went through all of that. I was a Jesus freak, and I went from a Jesus freak. I saw Jesus Christ Superstar 22 times or 32 times, just because it had a profound effect upon breaking away old Christian thoughts on me into what Jesus was more like. Well, then I went into this thing of I don't believe anything but nature. Because, how can you put any type of verbiage on something that's infinite? And so I went through that as well. And I think what helped me was looking around, not believing in anything, but not allowing myself to fall back into a disbelief position, but into an observation position. And when you move from a mental position, of whatever position you wish to take, but you've moved away from that, from a position to a non-position of observation, it doesn't take long to look at the beauty and look at how things work and just look at the human body and go, creative intelligence, absolutely. Call it what you want, because I don't really care what people call it. We have other names that are more Sanskrit names like Sugmad. I use the name Sugmad because it's a higher name for that which is called God, but call it God. I don't care. Call it no God. But there is a consciousness that your consciousness is a part of and you can't get rid of. You can't get rid of yourself if you tried. Try shooting yourself. You just lose your body. You still got yourself. You can't get away because you can't kill the infinite. There's just no way. You have to start to accept your own beauty and the fact that you're a piece of this whole. So it's almost better sometimes if you come from a disbelief position than a belief position, because sometimes your belief is the very thing that buries you. And the problem with belief systems is half of them are wrong, and or have just a piece of the truth. And it's okay, but there's a growth scenario, and sometimes religions can hold you down from growing spiritually. And then there are some good televangelists, there are some good ministers and priests out there. There are some, but and there's some that are not. So it's all about you anyway, and your direct experience with it. I think belief systems is something I never want to have. I think having a little faith that something will work is good to get you going, but you want to move into the experience so you can say, I'm a knower now. I don't believe, I know because I've had the experience. And that's what I prefer. It's learning how do you experience something that's infinite? If there is a God, it's going to be infinite. Now, how do I, from a finite position, enter to something that's infinite? And the now is the only place to find that. Because everything else is materialistic and everything else deals in matter, energy, space, and time. You have to get yourself out of matter, energy, space, and time. And there's only one part of you that can do that. And that's your consciousness, your awareness. That's the only thing. But that's the real you. It's shapeless, it's formless. Call it your energy body, call it whatever you want. This is just a form body, but it isn't you. This form is not, it doesn't even look like you. Your consciousness. and there's no form to that. Real hard to understand until you start working more into the now and getting rid of restrictions and limitations and ideas and concepts and opinions. Don't have a friggin' opinion, because as soon as you have an opinion, you're found out to be wrong. So, yeah, that's probably, you just have to kind of leave all doors open for growth. Now that I'm watching your spiritual videos, I really understand what and who is God. God is the source. Actually, I don't even believe in God. I'm sure about it. I feel it. That's it. And now you are more a part of God than those that are the believers and the loyal worshipers and stuff, because they're worshiping something outside of themselves. They haven't got that wholeness in themselves yet. They haven't got that awakening. And a lot of ministers and priests won't let them awaken either. Keep them down, control freaks. You get a lot of that out there. And if anything, your religion is supposed to set you free and set you into a conscious experience with that which is the all. That's what religions to me are there for, not to dictate what some thought up experience might be, or some what do you want to call it? They use these little stories, that drill home the greatness of God, but it doesn't give you any succor. You watch your buddy detoxify, they're feeling super good, but it doesn't do anything for you because you didn't enter the realm. And until you enter the realm, until you put that robe on and get on that bull, just saying. It's easy to have the same view if you're not lead dog, remember? You're always looking at the ass end of things. And so you really want to become the lead dog in your world, your consciousness. You don't want to be the follower. You want to be the knower. You don't want to be the believer. You want to be the knower. The knower is someone that's had active conscious experience. They feel it. They know it. And you can't rip that away from you because you have active experience with it. He's a good guy. Oliver, you're a pretty solid dude here. Actually, I don't even believe it. I feel it. For lots of years, I was very worried about death because I thought there was nothing after it. But now I'm not even scared about it. Heck no. I mean, when you really think about things, and I mean really think about things and observe things, you realize you're a being that keeps on ticking, baby. And there's no stopping. Why would that be? You're constantly growing and opening. But think about it. If you wanted to increase your ability to experience, and you were the creator, but to maintain yourself, you have to always be infinite. And the only way you can limit yourself is to create the illusion of duality, where you have two forces opposing each other, where form is created, differences, separation, individuality, all of that is formed. Then that isn't you, but it's what you've set up. And then you send yourself down through it, And you just think about things like that and you'll see. I feel much more peaceful. I'm going to try some OBE. It seems to be incredible, Oliver. It is so friggin' incredible. I can't even tell you. There's nothing like it. Think about a roller coaster ride. I mean, it brings joy deep within. And it brings almost a nirvanic episode. That's why you have to limit how deep of an experience you can get, and it will limit you from it because you can't get back. It's overwhelming. Just the people that have minor little out of OBEs, they don't want to come back, and they just had a little bitty thing. Oh, there's worlds you can visit, spiritual cities you can see. There's all kinds of things out there. I mean, it's not like here. You now don't have to worry about a limited body which needs a vehicle to travel in because you can travel through your vehicle of the mind. Thought moves you through most of these worlds anyway, and much more so in the mental worlds. Emotions and desire can move you very quickly in the astral world, and this is why you have to have some degree of maturity brought on at this level to be able to control yourselves in these worlds. Because it's like the old saying, imagine having a mind that can hurt others. That's why I got out of mind control years ago. I had a strong mind. I could get a person out of their house in the middle of the night and walk over and talk to me, and they don't even know why. And I quit. I said, no, no. I did that a few times. I said, no, I don't want any karma. I don't want invasion, anybody's space. And that's the thing I live by. I don't want to invade anybody's space. You do what you want, take what you need out of this. If we can help, we're right there as your brother. But walk the path you must. Now, this is, I don't have to see a name on here, or a member number. Hello and greetings, dear Robert. Same to you. I owe you a rain shower of thanks for the guidance you give. Well, thank you so much, and let me give my love back to you. Thanks for doing it and working on yourself. Well, my situation is my mom. We came to Sweden in 1979. Since 1981, my mom started with problems. Now 34 years later, she's in a bad condition. My father passed away in heart condition. Oh, although he was more into your way of living. No kidding. Yeah, gets us all, don't it? Gets us all. He was a child doctor in Chile, and that was neat. Well, you know what? His time was up. He needed to go on. Probably greater and greater and greater things that soul's learning. And look at what he did while he was here. That soul helped a lot of kids. So that's good. I tried the Heal All Teas, different remedies for diabetes too, using, I never heard of this, Val, P-I-R-I-A, seeds. I've changed her diet to more raw and fruit. It has shown improvement. I don't know if it, the power of the mind or not, but her, no, osteoporosis is getting worse. Until you get her lymph system filtering through her kidneys properly, her osteoporosis will continue to get worse. Because why? Because you're not moving the acids out. And as long as the body is acidic, it'll always lose calcium to that source. The body is not going to surrender easily. It takes a long time to kill a body. And look at what bodies can sustain through eating dead trash cells, dead tissue, dead milks, the crap that people put down them, all these colored-looking chemical drinks. Look at what people put down them. And Coke, Pepsi, and they still live. That shows you the power of the Creator in just that. But nothing is infallible to all chemistry. So, as acids are, corrosion and breakdown is the end result of that. Now, if she's type 2, that's her adrenal glands. Well, that ties into the kidneys, of course, and the filtration and stuff of the lymphatic system. So you want to get into her adrenal glands, either with a glandular for the adrenals, say 200 milligrams, 1-3 times a day if it was me, or I would do a herbal for the adrenals, maybe even for the whole endocrine gland system as far as that's concerned. Let me see what's going on here. But hear her during in the night when she is in pain. I just feel helpless. Well, remember, pain is predominantly an acid experience. And until you get rid of the acids, you're just putting something on there to mask the pain. Now, anti-pain is the same thing as anti-inflammatory. And anything that is predominantly base chemistry in its nature is anti-inflammatory, anti-pain, anti-acid. See, they're all in that same thing. So fruits and berries and melons and salads are going to be anti-acid, anti-inflammatory, anti-pain. So she needs to get up on that. But she's got to get her kidneys and adrenal glands fixed here. With her husband passing and all this, all that stress in her life, plus, going way back, she could have had problems before, in her genetic line in that. And it's the only way to get remedy to that. We have the inflammation joint formula, or healthy joints, I think it's called. definitely helpful because it's full of anti-inflammatory or antacid herbs. So that could be helpful with her while you're detoxifying her, but she needs to get at least try 100% raw if you can get her there. If you can't, give her 80% raw, 20% cooked vegetables. Get rid of the beans, get rid of the grains, get rid of the meats, get rid of the proteins, all that. Get rid of the milk, get rid of all the things that causes pain and mucus and acidosis and toxemia. Hard to digest, stresses the liver back. Get rid of all those foods. And give her into foods that are easy to digest, foods that have simple sugars in them, things like that. Get her away from the grains. Now, someone like this is going to have a lot of fungus in them. So you're going to want to give them Parasite M for a while to help get rid of the fungus. Or they're going to keep craving the very cheeses and starches and the fermented foods that people like to eat. Really. It's not easy to listen to your dear mom like I know. I couldn't handle it either, man. It just shows your spirituality, though, which is good. And you're a concerned a child, and that as it should be. So let's get her fixed up if she'll get herself fixed up. We tried different doctors here in Sweden. Yeah, you know what? You guys know the highest way to get people well, way beyond that anyway. And it's just a waste of time, and sometimes even some things that have been recommended that can cause her more serious problems. You know, these guys are nuts sometimes. But they can only subscribe, medication, painkillers, exactly, and cortisones, that sort of thing. And those are the things that will hurt her. But you have to have some pain meds. So you have to be careful the level. She can work with minor non-acetaminophen painkillers like Aleve and things. Maybe that's better. At the same time, though, your diet wants to be anti-inflammatory. Your herbs are going to be anti-inflammatory. You're specific after you're focused. You know what system the pain is in. You know it's lymphatic. You know it's not the blood. You know it's lymphatic in nature. You know the kidneys and the adrenals. Well, looky there, the adrenals, type 2. So you're right there, right where she's having her problems, and she's symptoms with sugar metabolism from that. But she's probably not filtering well either. So she's losing calcium to this. Now, with that said, you want to make sure her parathyroid is up there good. So I'd work a little on that with maybe the Bones formula, all anti-inflammatory power, help put some of that back. At the same time, you want to be opening up her doorway to the lymph world, to removing this acid out of her system. Or I don't know how you get well. People don't. They do when they do this, and they don't when they don't. That's all I know. I'm not trying to be narcissistic about it, but it's not narcissistic. It's the way nature works. This isn't my plan. These are just the way the Supreme One or the Creator, whatever you want to call it. I like the Supreme One myself, but, that which is the Creator put up. It's plenty adequate. But we keep digging ourselves in deeper holes. You notice that? But they can only, I need guidance. I just want to let her ascend in peace without the pain. I think, listen. I don't know how to pronounce your name. It's Eduardo. But it's enough to say, my friend. Let's get your mom back to a state of wellness. She doesn't have to sit there and take that crap. She has to learn what's causing this and how she has complete control over this. Empower her with the knowledge and the awareness that she has now the ability to fix herself. And this video will hopefully show her this video, let her see this, because she needs to understand that you're going to go to one doctor after another, but you're disempowering your own belief systems. You're not empowering your awareness to fix yourselves. And that's why these videos are up here, to give you all the power to fix yourselves. And we're here to help you on top of that. So there's only one way to fix a pain situation, is get rid of what's causing it. Does that make sense? Well, one side of chemistry causes pain more than the other by far. Exactly. Acids. And most of these acids, even though there's a lot of dietary acids in most people's diet, but you can't take someone in pain and give them a protein diet. You're just going to make the pain worse. I mean, that stuff, there's so much oxymoron crap out there, I just can't believe it. And it's easy to prove. It's easy to prove to your mom proteins causes pain. Get her on a raw food diet for a week and then give her some protein and let her see for herself. You can prove these things on yourselves. You don't need to take anybody's word for any of these things. Prove it on yourself. So thanks for the question, though. And let me see here, dear Dr. Morris, what are your thoughts on Morgellons disease? You know, we've talked about that before, and I've had them in there pretty parasitic up. Seen them in there with the little blue hairs wiggling. I've actually seen them wiggling. I asked you to have trays of these things, flasks of these things. I had a lady that was so bad. I mean, everybody freaked in here, but just so bad. I mean, you could almost see the worms falling out of her as she walked. But then these Morgellons, these little hair-like things, and they have little bodies on them. I don't know what to tell you. You know, all I know is that we only have the parasitic world and detoxification to clean and kill and restore, you know. So in trying to step into the chemical side too much, I think I told you about the lady that she had to be admitted to a psych ward. She freaked out when she saw the worms coming out of it from us. Then she went on her own way, went to a veterinarian, got a horse dewormer. Well, that brought even more. That brought out thread worms that we didn't even get out. Well, that freaked her out even more. This lady went over the top. They had to put her away for a little while, you know. So don't freak out. It's just a body, and you just get rid of. But detoxification is the only way, and I would use strong parasitics, and go after that in a strong way, the whole body that way. And you might, if it's a high infestation, you might have to stay on them for a while. The internet is full of people on health forums with similar symptoms as my wife and I have had going on for the last 9 months. We're experiencing stinging sensations which occur anywhere on the body, any time of the day, along with red pimples. And do you see also the little hairs thing that become open sores if scratched, accident? But this is all just acidosis. I mean, you can have viral loads or parasitic loads, no question, but this is all removable out of the body stuff. But you've got to get the body detox. You see, just your skin is an eliminative organ. It is your third kidney, and right under the skin, subcutaneously, that's your main lymph flow. So that's where the lymph nodes are hooked to this. That's a sewer system, a major sewage port. So yeah, you get visitors, hungry little creatures, you know, those sort of things. But the only way that I know of to get remedy of any of these things is detoxification. And some people have it so bad it's going to be a while. But there's no other remedy. I mean, you can go allopathically, but it doesn't take long to get discouraged after you've been through about 4 or 5 docs and, you know, you've ran through the gamut of antibiotics and crap. You know, you just about reach the top of their focus. But in botanical work, you've got all levels of botanicals for all levels of parasites. We are both vegetarians for the last 30 years and vegans for 5 years. Oh, that's pretty good, isn't it? And yet to have something like this. But it just shows that you haven't got in and detoxed yourself enough. You're doing the right diet focus, but you haven't got in that, taken that time aside to dig real deep. You know, but just, you reach plateaus when you're doing vegetables. And that's okay in a daily life, and I want to be real healthy and feel good. But to detox is a much deeper focus. And I think you guys are seeing that and learning that. And important to learn that. Always have veggie matter later. My wife has been to 7 doctors having blood tests, urine tests. I mean, oh, Chuck and Louise, Toronto, Canada. Hello, Chuck and Louise. Listen, sweetheart, dig in, detox yourself. I would probably do Parasite M and G both. And Marcy and I were just talking about that too, about Hannah Kroger's when she was alive. I went through her program. I just wanted to see what it was. And she had, what, 20 wormwoods at a time and stuff. But I think if you use Parasite M and G capsules and you used a Parasite M liquid tincture and you use Parasite G capsules and you did about 4 to 5 capsules at a time and you did about 4 or 5 times a day, you're going to rid yourself. At the same time, remember the system that's involved, and that is the lymphatic system. Clean the system. You can't just expect to make a kill and suddenly you're clean, because that isn't the truth. This is a sewer system that needs to be cleaned out and get filtering through the eliminative organs of that system, which is the kidneys. And that's the pathway you got to go, honey, is to get your lymph system cleaned and a parasitic kill simultaneously. That way you're sitting right on top of it all. You're doing good. Melon lover. Marcy's on a watermelon fast, and the mucus she's getting out is amazing. So she's saying, well, I don't know which gets out more mucus, watermelon or lemon. So she's going back and forth between lemon fasting and watermelon fasting. Good stuff. One day her type 1 will just, bam, it's gone. But hers is neurological. We were talking about that. And when she was young, when something traumatic would come, her blood sugars would soar. So there is that neurological component to that. But if you understand the nervous system controls literally everything, then it goes back to neurotransmitters, it goes back to the adrenals, goes back to the autonomic. You start looking at that, even in a type 1, helpful, because you're just going in and fixing everything. Best you can do. I woke up 2 days ago to a significant enlarged neck. Don't like that. Got a lot of those cases right now. If I held my neck in a normal position, I had a triple chin. It was as if I had gained 10 pounds in my neck overnight. My jaw is completely hidden. I'm a 24-year-old female, 5'10", 145 pounds, previously on Accutane. Oh, honey. Oh, my God, sweetheart. Well, all this swelling to swell up like that is edema. All right, and you can go through phases of lymph nodes filtering and not filtering. And I don't know what kind of effect Accutane had on the lymph nodes, but it wasn't real good, you know, so you got to work through these things. First, you have to fix why you were on Accutane, right? You got to go back and fix why you had skin problems, right? And where are we going? We're going to the kidneys, we're going to the adrenals. Why are we going there? Because they control the sewer system that they filter. And guess who's your third kidney? Your skin. So this is all tied to the lymph nodes, interstitial fluids, and right to the cells. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And to have this swelling up like this, that's not good. So you really want to clean your bowels real good. I mean, get into your GI tract, clean it up, get your kidneys filtering, get those adrenals up so you start moving that lymph all through you. Get yourself sweating a little bit with the thyroid or hot showers or saunas or whatever way you want to do that. And former high-protein diet athlete, oh, well, you just wrecked your kidneys and your adrenals, so you just got to fix them, sweetheart, and get yourself back in. And then pump amino acids with the green drinks. That way you don't wreck yourself. It's just, we athletes have to learn the proper way of getting strong, and then we're going to see a whole nother level of stats. Let me tell you. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I believe all these glossy magazines. But you can have nice bodies, strong muscles, and win events and have some new stats when you get your resistance cleaned out. When you get your lymph cleaned out, you get your adrenals up, you're pumping neurotransmitters, you're clean, the energy's moving through you without resistance. You're way out there. Don't take my word for it. Go for it. See what you get. A lot of guys on YouTube are getting there now, and it's amazing. They're freaked out. Too much energy. Imagine too much. You got to turn it off a little bit. Instead of, I want more energy, you're getting too much. Whoa, I can't stay in my body. Let me turn it down a little bit. I like that side better. The skin underneath my jawline seems to have hardened. I don't like that one either. I'm guessing due to lymph nodes and... God, smart woman, absolutely. You guys are getting smart. And that's the value of these videos, I think, and what you guys are just coming back with. You guys are picking it up. You're getting it. That's going to take you way ahead of your opponents and all the other souls. But realistically, I like to see everybody awake, you know. But thyroid is enlarged as well. Yeah, you might be working on a goiter, honey, but goiters are all lymph. Just lymph, lymph, lymph. But this is just showing just what you said. I say you got to break this gut loose because your esophagus is probably swollen a little bit, stomach, you know, all of that interstitially. So go after those kidneys and adrenals, honey, and you'll be okay. Skin around neck has become unusually soft, however, extremely itchy and red at times. Well, this is all acids. You probably have fungus in there too, you know, and all that kind of stuff. It's been 2 days and I've seen no signs of improvement or worsening. Well, when something like that happens to you guys, put yourself immediately on a fruit fast. I would. Immediately on a fruit diet. I mean, forget everything for a few days. I'm going on a fruit diet. Grapes or whatever, lemon juice fast. Who cares? Put yourself immediately on that. And immediately, if you got herbs, hit for the kidneys, the adrenals, and the lymphatics. Immediately know that's where you're going. Clean up the bowels. Make sure your bowels are moving, you know, and go into that level of thinking. I have been eating all fruit or juicing on and off for a 2-month period for the past year, otherwise maintaining a raw diet. I've been taking an herbal mix of kelp, nettle, dandelion, bladderwrack, rockweed, burdock root, maca, ginger, aloe vera regularly. Interesting. A lot of iodine, and you might just be having a thyroid storm or something there from so much iodine-based stuff. But with that said, you shouldn't be. But you could, because of these are all fairly high in iodine. But back off of that. But, kelp, bladderwrack, I don't know about rockweed, but all these are fairly high in iodine, and maybe you just have that. But still represents the same problem. And you could be sensitive to iodine with that, although you haven't mentioned the closing of the throat. But with this swelling, everything is swollen. But I would put myself on a lemon juice fast myself, or an orange juice fast, and try to pull this out of there. At the same time, I'm going to pump the kidney formulas, I'm going to pump a lymphatic formula or two, and I'm going to go after my bowels and my adrenals. Absolutely. I wouldn't touch my thyroid right now at all. I'd wait till I get all this swelling out of here and then take a look at those basal temperatures and go after that. Most recent changes 3 weeks ago, I started using baking soda. Filtered water and a few drops of cinnamon leaf essential oil to swish in my mouth after meals. That's interesting. Baking soda, I wouldn't take much of that. Make sure it's aluminum free, because you don't want to. Baking soda is full of aluminum, well understood, so you want aluminum free always. Teaspoon per cup of water. I wouldn't always chase it down. I mean, some people do, but I would drink a little bit throughout the day. Just hydration, and for helping to neutralize some degree of acidosis. Again, that's going to be your bicarbonate, which is so vital. You might douching twice a day with dandelion tea. I'd use the Heal-All tea if I'm going to douche, because you're going to get a lot done. I've got a lot done with the Heal-All tea. And using sandalwood diluted with jojoba oil on face, neck, chest. Daily barefoot walks on the beach. Now, I don't know. You might see if sandalwood is a little strong for you. You want to be careful there. With the oils up here and all these blocking, you might just want to pull yourself off of everything right now, and go on a little grape fast or something for a week or two till all the swelling comes out, get on the kidneys and all that, and then add these. I would add the sandalwood and jojoba oil first, and see if that sandalwood was a little too much for you. Check that out, and then back up to your different teas and check that out. Muscle test. If anything, muscle test each herb on yourself to see if your body wants any one of these herbs, because that might help you as well. But you got a good regimen here. You're doing some good things. Daily bear walks on the beach. Oh, I'm jealous. Used to. I Googled sandalwood and found out its ability to pass the blood-brain barrier. Perhaps this is, that's what I was thinking, the sandalwood. But some medical doctors claim there's no such thing as a blood-brain barrier. What about that one? Because I can tell you, anything can get up there. Anything. Anything can get in. Anything. Including tapeworms. Remember that case I told you I had from India where the medical profession told the lady she had a tapeworm in her brain. That's freaky. I mean, that's freaky. I'm still freaked out about that one. She called here, and I put her on a program and haven't heard from her since. I cannot take a picture to send to you. However, my right eye has a dark crevasse at 11 to 12. That's the right eye, 11 to 12. So we're up there in the brain here. Is it back on the cerebellum, closer to 11? Which would be that equilibrium thing, as well as the thyroid, lung. Well, the thyroid, I see you have a weakness there. Lung and leg areas. Could this have anything to do with it? Could with the thyroid and too much iodine-based stuff could give you a little thyroid storm, maybe. But something gives me a sandalwood. Hey, take a look at that. So just something to think about. I'd probably pull off of some of these things. Remember, essential oils are a little dabble, do you? A little dabble do you with essential oils. That's why in America they don't like ingestion of essential oils. They forbid us to recommend them. I have been following you for the past year. Oh, thanks, sweetheart, while traveling on 3 continents. It's been a tremendous support with Healing on the Road. Big thanks and love to you, Melon Lover. Thank you so much, sweetheart, for that. Back away from some of these things. When you have something like this going on, stop everything that you're doing. And even in a healing crisis, stop everything and start introducing one thing at a time, particularly your foods, and then muscle test. Muscle test the herbs or anything that you've added differently, muscle test. But what it shows is your lymph system is an issue, and that you definitely have blockages there. So you want to open that doorway up, and it's just showing you that. So I just back off of everything and dig in, and going to be on a little grape fast and work myself out that way. Boy, we could go on forever, couldn't we? Hi, Boris from France, age 24. I'll go directly to the point. Good man. My life has been full of, oh crap. My life has been full of poisoning, antibiotics, chronic infections when I was a kid. Oh my God, Boris. Jesus Christ. Had my adenoid glands removed. Do they regrow or naturally fade at the adult age? You probably had them removed. Things can regrow. I don't have any experience with adenoids. Tonsils, yes. And I have a huge scoliosis. I've had 6 mercury amalgams too. Well, we need to go after that scoliosis. Now, as usual, you always want to think, I've got to get into my kidneys and my adrenals, and I got to get my lymph moving. That should be the first thing on everybody's mouth. Second thing is, let's clean up the GI tract with it. Third thing is, as all this is being cleaned up, then the sinuses, head, everything else is going to drain, because that's essential to kind of get that going. You got to get the poisons out, the antibiotic residues out, because if your lymph system isn't moving well, your body literally can store these poisons, and antibiotics are poisons to me, in the body for years. So getting that system moving is prime, face it, to get this poisoning and all this stuff out of you, for sure. And having the adenoids removed just showed you were backed up all the way up into the sinus and up into the head area. And so you want to get that opened up there. The scoliosis. Now, with that said, we're going to look at the parathyroid gland, aren't we? Now, we might want to look at the pituitary, but for now, with the information we have, we're going to definitely focus on the parathyroid gland. We're also going to maybe add a Bones formula with that, but we also have to note that it's going to take us some time, one, to remove causative factors. So when you're losing bone and weakening bone structure, what side of chemistry do you think your fluids are in? Your interstitial fluids. Right, more on the acid corrosive side. Therefore, you're losing calcium, weakening structure, and of course the other side, always one kidney is stronger, filtering over another, so the weaker side is going to lose to the strong side. You're going to pull that spine. You can twist the spine, mutation of the spine. It will grow back, it will pull back, but you can't do it in an acidic medium, right? So you're going to go after what we all know to be true. You're going to go right into the kidneys, right into the adrenals. You're going to move your lymph. Use those neurolymphatic points down your spine to get that moving down the spine better. Work on the kidneys a lot there. That's how you want to drain the head out. Use that help. Get your skin up. It's sweating. Open all your doors. Get everything opened up. Clean, clean, clean. At the same time, you want to utilize calcium, and that's going to be through the doorway of the parathyroid gland. And in a case like that, you're probably going to can't expect scoliosis to straighten up in a few months. But 6 to 1 year it should, and particularly after a year, your spine should straighten right back up. It generally takes about 11 months to 12 months in the cases we observe, but that's 100% raw for that period of time. But remember what you're doing. You're totally realigning the body that's twisting itself out. What's causing the body to twist itself out and to lose its resources? Acidosis. Not alkalosis, acidosis. And again, you go back to the kidneys, the lymph, the adrenals, you go back to that system again. You're back to that system. Because outside of those two fluid systems, you just got the cells. Even with that, my life was quite livable, but came adolescence and acne. Well, right there, I told you your lymph system was a mess right then. These doctors gave me antibiotics for 2 years and didn't work, so they gave me Accutane for 7 months. Here's another Accutane. This is It is so upsetting because now, of course, it's sitting on top of a very bad drug scenario. And I can't remember all the side effects from chewing up all the bone marrow to everything else, but is that worth it? You know, our field might take a while, but you're assured of a remedy. When you go with chemical medications, you're assured of hurting yourself, that's for sure. That's one thing for sure. Very few chemical pharmaceuticals don't hurt you in some way. Very few. And this time it really succeeded to destroy my life. My entire body was not livable anymore. Joint pain, burning skin. Oh, I feel for you, man. Jesus criminy, I feel for you bad. But grab your consciousness. That's your body. Grab your consciousness. Fix your body. Because we are all grabbing consciousness and becoming conscious, we can fix things now. And so we can help you fix these things. And at least God has that path of remedy. Why wouldn't it? It's duality. Creation is duality. You have the decay, but you have the rebirth and regrowth. We're just so apathetic and lost our whole desire. We're eating dead animals and dead foods and chemistry like nothing would take, and people taking chemotherapy, and all these things, and we wonder why the suffering is at the level it is. It doesn't take much to wonder, you know. Some years later, began that way with depression. Now, again, that takes you back to your parathyroid. I'm amazed you didn't have it before, because with scoliosis, you're assured to have some degree of parathyroid weakness. With that, you're assured to have some degree of depression. I had the really bad idea to ingest huge amounts of heated cannabis mixed with fat. Interesting thought. This gave me huge panic attacks and spasmophilia, nonstop for 9 months, feeling like I was dying. Holy crap, man, that wasn't worth it, was it? Well, the problem with the weed, I mean, if you're using the gummies and the cookies and all the things they're coming out now with, that's a lot better. But you know, the weed is still neurotoxic to a certain extent. Not like all the other neurotoxins, but certainly a little bit. And already on a weak lymphatic system and a weak adrenals, weak myelin sheaths, especially when you have weak adrenals and you have nerve rings in the eyes. Yeah, the weed could cause you a little bit of anxiety and stuff. So fixing all these things are good, and ingesting it in any other way besides smoking it would be even better. You might have to stay away from neurotoxins for a while and let the energy of the fruits give you the buzz, because they will give you a buzz. I've had some good buzzes from medjool dates. But I know where you are. I was poisoned with quinine, and it took me several years to get out of it. And it was devastating, I can only tell you. And so I have a lot of empathy for all of you guys with that. I still know how I managed to not kill myself after this torture. Yeah, you've been beat up pretty good. I had an overall strange feeling inside my body, feeling my heart like I was in it, feeling every pump I know. Also, it can get so bad that every breath you have fear, because you can't breathe unless you think about it. Because if you don't think about breathing, you'll just pass out. You never want to suppress the autonomic nervous system. Because when things are automatic, you don't appreciate them until they're not. You know what I mean? A lot of bad stuff on this guy here. But only the positive thing that came from this was that I was forced to do something about my health. Yeah. And that's why you went through it. You know, that's what I'm saying, is that when we hold too strong to our belief systems, and I'm not going to change, I like it my way, be careful. Because those are the things that God says, oh yeah? And then you start having experiences the other way. It breaks you down until you say, I give, I surrender, I let go. And now you're free. And it'll take you. That's what I'm saying, through the initiations or through the process of growth, however you wish to call it, through the baptisms, however you wish to focus on that. Letting go is always the key. Don't care. Buddha, Christ both said detachment. Key in your survival beyond this realm. Because the more this realm is your baby, the more it is your baby. And there's bigger babies. Now, I had nothing to lose anymore, and strangely, this cannabis poisoning gave me a bit of lucidity back from my depersonalization. Well, that's good. You know, maybe opened up your ability to have more lucid dreaming. So I started looking for a cure. I did kidneys and liver flush by Dr. Clark. My first kidney flush, I was feeling like I was dying too, sick as hell. My pee was black for the first 3 days. Was feeling better after that. Man, did you have some toxic kidneys. Holy crap. Of course, a little bit of Accutane wouldn't help. After that, I did 12 liver flushes who bring me back to life. At the middle of my liver flush series, I stopped eating meat, dairy, processed foods, legumes, etc. I only ate raw fruits, raw vegetables, very low amount. I hate them. Potatoes, quinoa, and cooked vegetables. You did damn good, my friend. I was feeling like reviving. But stop eating meat made my body weak nervously, and I could not do any liver flushes anymore. My bowels wasn't able to trigger a diarrhea like it did before, and I passed no more stones. Now, we had a conversation about why that was. Do you remember why, when you withdraw from dead animal eating, you feel more tired? It's because you were using the neurotransmitters out of that dead tissue for your energy, for your neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are just what it sounds like. It is your neurotransmitters. It moves energy through the nervous system, allows impulses, nerve impulses, turns things on. Different neurotransmitters will dilate the vascular walls or constrict the vascular walls. It'll shut off urination or turn on urination and elimination. They do all kinds depending where you want the power, baby. You know, this is about energy management and energy rearrangement in the human body. You'll get to the point where it doesn't need to do so much of that. But that's my point. After a lifetime of eating dead animals, it's like a lifetime of taking a steroid and suddenly you quit. Of course you're going to crash. Of course you're going to feel more tired. You don't burn protein for energy. That's neurotransmitters. If you want meat with lower neurotransmitters, you have to kill wild. And you have to sneak up on your kill and they don't even know they're going to be terminated. If that's even possible. Because that's why we like a piece of meat. Gives you energy. Not really, it's fake. It's neurotransmitters, and then you start losing your own neurotransmitters. But when your own neurotransmitters kick in, watch out, baby. Okay, about 15 more minutes is all I have left here. After that, I poisoned myself with huge amounts of, chlorine dioxide gas. I'm a moron. Which made me feel like I was dying again. Well, you're not a moron, but you are doing some things here. But, you know what, that's life. I mean, we just run into these things. We come into situations we don't know. We're unconscious a lot of times. But I'll say this, you're getting beat up, but you're becoming stronger from it. And you're learning from it. And that's what it's all about, really. It's just becoming stronger and more awake and more aware. Yeah. Before all this, I had some psychological trauma too. Other people, even some friends treating me like shit, but that's not. Yeah, you know what? My friend, get strong within thyself. You're a beautiful soul. Appreciate that and get strong within the self. Stop thinking. Get out of the mind. Enjoy the beauty of everything around you and yourself and what you were given. And enjoy everything you do, because who cares if anybody cares or not? It's only you that matters. So don't care about other people and what they think. You can be the God-man, give the love and respect and humility to all life, because you've got yourself. You don't need anything else. You're home. You're okay. You don't need to be better than anyone else. It doesn't matter. We're all the same. We come from the same stuff. It doesn't matter anymore. You see the beauty in all things, but you have your sukkah, and nothing can take you off of that. And the only way to get that is get rid of that mind. You know, use the mind. Put it on missions. If you want something to think about, go say, listen, I want to know about that, and wait till it brings back the information. Don't go follow your mind. You can go straight to this line if you can't read the whole story. No, I can read it. After all of this, cannabis, Accutane, chlorine dioxide, lung poisoning, then the kidneys, plus liver flushes, and diet change. No more animal products. And yeah, okay. My nervous system seems not to recover. Well, use the brain and nerve number 2. Hit your adrenals. You might need to do a glandular just for a little while to kick those things. 400 milligrams 1-3 times a day ought to kick it for a month or so, and then go down to 200 is what I would probably do. And start building that up. Fix your kidneys, fix the damage that Accutane and all these acids are doing in you. The scoliosis, you got to fix that anyway. You got to get your calcium up. You got to get your back fixed. So go down that road and fix these things, and you'll be good. Your nervous system needs that calcium for nerve impulses too. So that can play a big role in weakening your nervous system, or weak impulses is your lack of calcium utilization too. Reflex to exercise. Now, breathing is a neurological experience. So if you're having a hard time taking a deep breath, again, nervous systems. When I do too much exercise or heart stimulation, sex, masturbation, etc., I start to feel like I'm dying again, because this is neurological. You're neurotoxic. You put in neurotoxins, they brought your nervous system down. Anytime you stress that nervous system, even with a little joy, it takes you down. So go, just what I'm saying, go into your adrenal glands, brain and nerve number 2. Start building your nervous system. At the same time, you got to detox these neurotoxins and all the other acids out of your body. Make sense? It's the only way you're going to find remedy. Let me see here. I had to force myself to breathe very quickly and strongly. Yeah, I know. Listen, I know right where you are. And you're at a neurologically low, but you can fix that, my friend, and bring yourself back to a good state of wellness and enjoy the sex life then. So my question is, should I eat meat back to get epinephrine? Yeah, you know what? If you cannot go there, I'd try not. If you do, try the fish first. They got a lot of epinephrine. So try the fish first, a little bit with a salad maybe, but stay raw on your fruit the rest of the day. See if you can do that. But I tell you, I'd rather go into the adrenals with a glandular of 400 milligrams. I'd do 1-3 times a day if it was me. I would definitely do brain and nerve number 2. Pick that up. You can do lower circulation to bring more blood into the adrenals and kidneys faster. Honk on the lymph system, clean the bowels, and rest. Build yourself back up, and then you can go full force, Don't try to do too much now. You're at the weak end of that. Build, 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 build. Strengthen, clean, and you'll be good. The simple idea to eat meat, ingest me, but I don't want to die like a moron while masturbating. Why not? It's a good time to go. I always thought, well, what a great way to go. Make love to a beautiful woman, and next thing you know, you're in some beautiful world. Or whatever, man, whatever. But with that said, let me see. Yeah, I would definitely do those things and work on myself, build my nervous system up. Then you can have all kinds of fun doing the things that you like, neurologically speaking. Okay. Let me see here. This is an email from Kelsey. I went fully raw for the week and came out in a vaginal yeast infection. No kidding. Look at that. Now, vital that you see that, because that means that you're backed up in the vaginal wall lymphatically. And what that means is that you could be popping atypical cells and not even know it, sweetheart. So get the Heal-All tea and douche. Clean that vaginal wall. Do it once a night for 2 weeks. And it really will give some good cleaning. At the same time, what this is kicking this out. Remember, raw food's clean. Even vegetables in the earlier stages. So it's just cleaning you. And of course, that's a canal and an opening. And when the kidneys aren't filtering and you're kicking it up in the raw, expect anything out of any hole. I'm just saying. Out of the nose, out of the mouth, out of the ears, out of the belly button, out of the vaginal. It doesn't matter. It can ooze out anywhere. No disgrace here. It's the body trying to get rid of what it doesn't want. You didn't create an infection with raw. You're pushing things out. Women get a lot of mucus discharges. Do the douching with the Heal-All Tea here. I thought maybe my adrenals couldn't handle the raw fruits yet, so I tried an adrenal supplement which flared my bladder. What can I do to support my adrenals without hurting my bladder? I don't know how the adrenals flared up your bladder. If it was a glandular, maybe try the herbal side of the adrenals. If not, if it was an herbal side, try the glandular. But you want to go on the kidney formulas as well. You want to work with your kidneys and detox your kidneys out as well, because that's what's not happening. So now it oozed out your vaginal area. You turn that around and go the other way, but douche with that Heal-All Tea. That's what I made it for, and it has done unbelievable things in cleaning women up. But keep in mind, this is your lymph system. It's a natural thing. When you start detoxifying, oozing of mucus and things like this, and it can be full of fungus, of course, it can go on up there. So you just douche with the Heal-All Tea. There's antifungals, and there's everything else in there as well. What can I do? It's hurting my bladder to give me my boost to going raw without candida overgrowth. I am 20 years old. Young, sweet thing. You know what? You might want to take the Parasite M formula for several months and do an internal cleaning, kill that way. But I'm telling you, you've got to fix your adrenals and kidneys. That way, keep your sugar simple. That way, you don't have complex sugars like starches. That creates a lot of fungal problems. Your fermentation. Remember fermentation. Watch proper food combinations. Mixing a protein and starch does not mix. You mix them, you have neutralization. You're going to have fungus and proteolytics involved. Because you have starch on one hand, you're fermenting, and you're putrefying the protein. So you're going to have a little gnarly type of bacteria involved with the proteins, and you're going to have fungus involved with the starch or with the sugars. Just saying. So proper food combinations should be observed. Get away from the starches, the complex sugars. Stay to the simple sugars. Use a parasitic formula. Get your kidneys filtering and douche. And at the same time, go after your bowels. Clean everything out, honey. You're 20 years old. That means you definitely have kidney and adrenals. And then I don't know what the shape your colon is. What color is your eyes? Go up to your eyes and take a look. See what you look like, dear one. And fix yourself up. You're 20 years old. You got a whole life in front of you. And now's the time to fix. If you don't have any kids, fix yourself now. Especially down there, they get everything clean, get the kidneys filtering. It'll keep the ovaries, the uterus clean. Everything is good. And then when you do come together, you will have a good, strong child without your genetics. Fix yourself now. 20 years old, a good time to do it. Hello, wonderful Dr. Morse. Well, I'm loving this person already. Thank you. Appreciate that. But I look back at you with that wonderment. Okay. A few Facebookers have started a psychiatric detox group based on your teachings as a foundation upon which to explore and help each other in detoxing off psychotropic medications. That's incredible. That's incredible, guys. I love you guys. You guys are friggin' the best. You are something else. This is just what we need, all kinds of these levels of thinking. Can you imagine? I've always wanted to go in prisons and change their menus and just what we could do all over. Oh my God. Good, good. And you know what? How important this is? How many deaths? I just had a certain family member, not in my family, but a close friend of mine's family member had his wife killed herself because he had a fight. Her husband had a fight with another guy, and she just went in the car. But she was on antidepressants. And we see this in every case of all these children getting killed by these other wackos, all on antidepressants. So we have but no one is taking responsibility for the antidepressants. They're blaming the guns and not the pharmaceutical companies and the ignorant medical doctors that are using them. You got to wake up. These people can be fixed without going through all this crap. But boy, you guys are incredible. I feel this is an area of detox which needs to be strengthened. Oh boy, you guys are right on. Oh, you guys are something else. You guys are the cream of the crops, babies. You Facebookers. I know we have our ups and downs and everything, but that's why you learn. Nothing's perfect down here, not supposed to be. So in that way. So this is great. This is incredible. You guys, that's what I said. You guys are going to take this to a far greater level than I ever could. But that's what this is for. We're supposed to do that, aren't we? Pass it on, baby. Exactly. So this is good. And titrating off of some exactly. Titrating is always better to me in psychotropic meds, but remember the parathyroid and depressions and the adrenals and anxieties and the bipolar that comes out of that. But then the parasitic action of the high fungus and depressions and memory losses and just all these things like this. People can. I mean, the difference between putting someone on psychotropic meds. Oh my God, that with what we've seen, that should be outlawed. Understand the causative problems and go after that. And don't, if we take it too far in the realm of mystery and unknowingness, go to the cell. Fix the cell, and you'll fix the connecting links to the etheric mind and emotional bodies. Because it's hard for those that are unaware of their astral and mental bodies to work on them like that. You have to do it through the physical gateway. And it will, because your endocrine glands are tied to your etheric bodies energetically. So what you see change there changes in the other bodies. This is why you can open up the emotional body, the astral body, and you'll have a flood of crying and everything else. Ideas, emotions, images, and things from the past that need to be cleaned out. Good detox. Because don't we want to get rid of that which is impeding our allness, our greatness, our beauty, our love, our ability to have buzzes and be nirvanic and enjoy the ecstasy of life in and of itself instead of a hellhole like this? But it's really the consciousness that makes it that. It's not the place, it's the consciousness, the awareness or the lack thereof. I have a question today about, boy, you guys are good, hearing voices. When this happens to me, rarely on raw, my guess it is from acidosis on top or an imbalance in chemistry. It's possible, but I want to tell you something. You can get your sensitivities up into these other finite worlds, or they are finite, but more etheric worlds to where you are being talked to. You can, you've got hearing voices, but there is a reality of that. There's also the celestial music that you can listen to. One of the trainings is to start listening to the inner music, the inner sounds of life moving, because noise is made when movement is in action. When energy moves through the flux of positive and negative poles, music is made. So sometimes these voices should be listened to. Other times, oversensitivity, there's so much right now where some of us are like antennas. We're so radiated and we're so sensitive that all these waves of language and verbalage, of radio waves and TV waves, all these things can come in, and you could probably pick them up and get some of that in there, like a radio, tuning of a radio. And I think it would be the oversensitivity of an individual. Sometimes high acidosis of the nervous system makes for a highly sensitive nervous system too. Some people are psychics one minute and not at another. So I don't know, I say that at one level we can only work on the physical side of that in strengthening the cells. But all voices are not all illusionary concepts. Again, you can be sticking out like an antenna, or you can be working with groups on the inner. You can be involved in a matter of fact, I like to do spiritual exercises where I take the group somewhere where we're a group, and try to listen to see what each one of you are thinking or saying about the experience. So there's all levels of this. Hard to say. So I would get all the inflammation out of them and get them more, the individual, healthy. That way they're not sticking up like antennas, pulling in all the crap. And by working more in a simple consciousness of observation, they'll be in the seat of control of that. So they'll have more of an indication of where it's coming from, if that's possible. Now, you also have different frequencies and different sounds. Tinnitus is looked on as a pressure issue, which I concur, and then maybe some weaknesses of the myelin sheath could create that hum as well. But with that said, each realm has a greater hum, a greater sound, and more vibration to it. There's times where my body used to just shake as the music would flow through me, and it's like, whoa. So I don't know, you've got a couple of things to think about with this. I'm still on a low dose of meds, but find it that if I hydrate, eat fruit and eat fresh air with relaxed time, that the voices go away. And that would say that you're more probably getting that antenna effect, because the atmosphere is full of voices and full of jargon and propaganda and everything else. The governments have been working for years subliminally for years. And just because we pass laws, you can't do it anymore. Bull crap. Subliminal work has been known for years. They finally made theaters stop flashing popcorn and Pepsi things subliminally, and then grocery stores from using music, relax, shop more type in a subliminal language. Oh yeah. I think they still write sex and stuff like that on bodies with pushing colognes and perfumes and stuff like that, of course. I mean, if you get back and you get back away from the mind, you'll see all that. Another interesting thing is that the voices, which are actually words being directed to my attention, just random words or sentences, are positive or negative, which depends on where I'm at in my heart space at the time. I can see that. And you could be working with others, and it could be them talking to you, and you have one part of you listening and one part not sure that listening is good. The problem with this level is there is actual communication with other beings, and there are actual people talking to you. I gave you one earlier about my masters working with me, and they still pull stunts. But any of this can be happen, and I think just what you said, and if you go back on what you said, when you hydrate and when you alkalize, you get a more solidified experience. When you're acidic, you're real sensitive, oversensitive, as your radio antennas are picking up stuff too much. You're too acidic and therefore very sensitive. And that's what that breeds. I have wondered the cause of voices and as what they are too. Are they indeed caused by acidosis and some imbalance of neurotransmitter chemistry? I would say not so much the voices as the sounds, like the cricket sounds can be, but also remember you have energy moving through you. And the more you listen to that energy, that's a spiritual experience, because you can ride on that wave and have an out-of-body experience as well. You have a lot of people that have psychic experiences that put it in the realm of evil, and they're not. They're just sensitive beings, and they can hear. So you've got a task, you Facebook people, because you've got to consider the spirituality of the issue, but also the negative aspects of the issue. So in all issues, you're going to alkalize, hydrate, you're going to do all those things anyway. So, but if it is someone that does have these experiences and they want to maintain them, then they must nurture that as well. Listen more, but be the strong. See, it all comes back to, are you the leaf blowing in the wind and these things are just happening to you? Are you working from a fixed state of awareness to where you're listening and you can hear these things? Some people are blessed more in that way. Some people feel things. Some people see things. Every soul has different ability to interact with all these different levels. But voices are everywhere and on different realms. So I think what it makes is the stronger and healthier you are, these are filtered out for you. The more sensitive your nervous system is, you've lost that filtration, and now you're a receiver. What are the voices? Could they sometimes spiritual entity? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. More so than not. I had this guy, I was telling you this just the other day about a guy buying a new car in a showroom, and is an older guy, and he was telling the salesman he was hearing voices and music, and he's done everything allopathically to get rid of it, and nothing works. And I walked by him and said, do you ever think that there was nothing wrong with that that's actually to your benefit, and maybe you should listen more to it? I'm just saying, you got to consider both sides of this coin. Always, always hydrate, alkalize, of course, rebuild, clean, get focused, because health is always the key. Then you can pick the voices. If you're working with certain masters or guides, you can listen to them. Could be this person is interfacing with loved ones that are on another realm, and it's coming through physically because he's so sensitive, or he or she. So there's all kinds of things about that. I would have a tendency not to look at these things negatively, and look at it more as a positive ability, but at the same time get yourself strong, and don't be the ability to watch, the watcher at your gate of consciousness, so things just don't come in from nowhere. It takes work and practice. You guys are up for the challenge. It ought to be quite interesting. I'm real proud to see you guys. And these are good questions, by the way. But there's not a physical answer always to these questions, because it isn't always a physical problem. And just like you're alluding to here, my friend, you have the spiritual side of this, and your life is packed everywhere with communicatable experiences. So you can have from the astral world communication to yourself, and if you're listening, you'll hear it. So you got that, as well as you have the depressions and the anxieties and the things like that are not so much in that realm. They're actually chemical issues. Thank you for your help. I've learned to manage these symptoms better in myself by staying raw, which is always the answer. Where in the past I would be hospitalized for weeks, these days some alkalizing fixes quickly. Isn't that interesting? And of course it brings down that sensitivity neurologically, yet it brings power to the nervous system. How interesting. It gives you because the weaker you are, the more you can get an entity attaching to you, the more you're used by others, the less you're home. So I'm giving you keys to become home again. You know what I mean? Plus I know it's just the mind and not who I am. You're right. I hope, because everything that's external stuff to who you are. That's all outside of you. You guys are just incredible beings. I'm quite honored to be sent here to do this. I didn't think I would. I hope you can answer this question. I'd like to post up an answer in the Psychiatric Detox Facebook page for everyone suffering with psychosis, so we can have a better understanding of it alongside medications and healing of mental illness. Yeah, I mean, because you've got all of that to think about, the autonomic, the central, and that's just making people healthy in that way. You can use upper circ, brain and nerves. You can do all kinds of things in that way. Look at your calcium channels through the parathyroid gland, your neurotransmitter channels through the adrenals and brain, serotonins, things like that. But these are just cells needing to be rebuilt and strengthened, right? And what affects them? The two fluids. Of course, we can go into consciousness. We can back that all the way up into states of consciousness, the decision to eat certain ways, to certain lifestyles, to carry certain thoughts and emotions. Absolutely. This is why it's holistic. And I love what you guys are doing. And I think that, if anything, becoming whole and strong within the self is your first key, and strengthening the nervous systems of the human body, getting the acids out. Sometimes we spiritually open ourselves up to these things, and now we're in groups on other planes that we're working with. There's a lot to this doorway, guys. A lot. And you don't know the nature of some of these souls. Some of these souls are very high beings. That's why I used to say alcoholics. People say, oh, they're the scum of the earth. Not really. A lot of the people doing drugs and becoming alcoholics are spiritual beings. They just don't want to be here. They're finding a way to alter their state of consciousness. They don't like where they're at. And they don't know how to do it the right way. So they get lost in using chemicals or something to help them. We shouldn't jail them. We should have compassion and help them to open up those doors spiritually. I told you I got an old biker, president of the Buckeye State for a while, of the Outlaws. And this guy, bad boy, to show you how bad. He walked into a Hell's Angel bar one time. They kicked the living shit out of him. He ended up in the hospital As soon as he got out, he walked right back in, same bar. And at that time, they decided to bell him up to the bar and buy him one. So that's the kind of guy. Before I was done with him, he was having out-of-body experiences in AA, telling people how to have OBEs and how to get their acts together and how to stop being recovering alcoholics and be a recovered alcoholic, if you can use that word alcoholic. But head on with this. It's interesting. I could probably sit here tonight and think of a whole bunch of other things to tell you about it. P.S. Sorry for the long letter. It's not long. Much love, much love to you. Monica from South Australia. Sweetheart, you are definitely on the right road. You guys are cool, cool, cool cats. I just love what you're doing, And just remember, all the endocrine glands are at issue in these cases. The nervous system, obviously, at issue in these cases. But you're going to have some spiritual work to do, too. That is going to open some big doors, too, isn't it? Oh, it's exciting as all get out. And with that, I'm going to leave you because incredible stuff you guys are doing. I just love that. And much love to each and every one of you. And open all your doors, but be the guard at the gate of the entrance to your worlds. Don't let anything in you don't want in. And at the same time, give love to all. Because giving divine love doesn't require payback. You'll get paid back immensely.